It's Wednesday, which means it is either Panic Index time or Stats time. And since we did the Panic Index last week, and I don't do that every week, because if I did it every week, it would feel, I don't know, it would just feel too reactionary and there wouldn't be much of a change from one week to the next, for the most part. That being said, let's go ahead and jump into the statistical leaders of the NHL. And I thought I'd keep it relatively simple this week because we haven't done a really simple one in a while. Your points leader is Connor McDavid with 51. Leon Draisaitl is second with 50. Watching Tim and Sid the other day, they had to make a debate out of whether or not, if these guys stay close like this, if in the last week of the season Connor McDavid has the puck and Draisaitl and James Neal were both wide open, would he pass it to Draisaitl if it meant Draisaitl would win the scoring title? Yes. Connor McDavid, the idea that he is obsessed with scoring titles disappeared last year when Ken Hitchcock took over, and in the first couple of weeks they were doing pretty well, but McDavid wasn't getting points because of the style of hockey they were playing. And he made it very clear he didn't care how many points he had as long as the team was winning. So yes, if Draisaitl's wide open and if Neal's wide open, he'll pass it to Leon Draisaitl. There's a greater chance of that puck going in the back of the net that way, and a better chance of winning. That's what McDavid's worried about, not scoring titles. Marchand is third with 44 points. Pastrnak is fourth with 43 points. And McKinnon is there with 42 points. And really, in all honesty, McDavid and Draisaitl could end up running away with this, which hasn't been seen in a while. On the goals front, Pastrnak has 25. He's threatening to run away with that as well. Did not get a goal last night. I can't see him getting 50 and 50. It's just so difficult in the NHL the way it's played now. Ovechkin, 20 goals for him. McDavid, 19. Marchand, 18. And Draisaitl also has 18 goals for the Edmonton Oilers. So McDavid and Draisaitl on the board again. Power play goals. Pastrnak, 12. So he's leading in that area. James Neal with 10. I think most of those were scored the first couple weeks of the season. Ovechkin, 8. McDavid, 8. And Evander Kane with 7. So your overall leaders, McDavid's on there again. Ovechkin's there again. Pasternak's again. It's no surprise there, really. On the shots front, Ovechkin has 140 shots to lead the NHL. McKinnon has 127. Pacioretty 119, Pastrnak 111, and Matthews with 107. So Matthews getting a lot of shots. He's been getting a lot of ice time lately as well. Not really a surprise on that list. Maybe Pacioretty, kind of, sort of, but not really, because Pacioretty's been known as a shooter his whole career. So yeah, some very familiar names there. Hits leaders. Anybody who's surprised Reeves is the leader in hits hasn't been paying attention to the NHL for long. 138 hits so far this year for him. Borowiecki, our hero, and I will be referring to him as that for a while. 111. Tom Wilson has 107. I didn't put a T in front of that because everybody, if I put Wilson hitter, people know who I'm talking about. Brandon Tanev, 102. Brady Tkachuk, 101. Matthew Tkachuk's not far below that either. Blocked shots. Clefbaum leads the National Hockey League in blocked shots with 93. The defenseman nobody's talking about. Edler, 80. Chris Tanev, 73. So Tanev and Edler both blocking a ton of shots. Of the two, I don't get mad at Tanev very often when I watch him play. Goligoski, 64. And Calvin DeHaan also has 64 blocked shots this season. Face-offs. Horvat has taken 659. He leads the NHL by a lot. And it's a situation that I've seen people talking about. Like, you've got to get other guys who can get out there and win faceoffs like he does. O'Reilly, 620. Dylan Larkin, 579. Jack Eichel, 561. And Jonathan Taves, 544. So those are your top 5 faceoff guys in terms of number of faceoffs taken. Wins. So goaltenders in black on here because I thought, why not color code it? Your wins leaders are Hellebuck and Holtby. Both have 14 after Holtby's win last night. Binnington, Anderson, and Rask all have 13 wins apiece. So those are your top goaltenders when it comes to wins. And save percentage, which likely tells you who's had the best season so far. Darcy Kemper, 936. Halak, 934. Hellebuck also has a 934 save percentage. Rask, 933, and Thomas Greiss, 931. Now, what's interesting here is there's Grice, there's Halak, Rask. There's a lot of veterans on there. So your young goaltenders will eventually get there. I'm looking at Carter Hart with that comment. And in that Hart's going to have his ups and downs this year, but eventually he'll be at the top of that list, I would think. Starts. So which teams are most likely to burn their goaltenders out? If you said Montreal and Calgary, you might have a point. Price and Riddick have both started 23 games. Martin Jones in San Jose started 22, and Freddie Anderson started 22 in Toronto. Now, the interesting thing is, all four of those teams currently, I'm pretty sure currently are below the playoff line. Now, they're close. San Jose, I'm trying to think. No, San Jose's above it. Barely. So the contending teams, the teams that are at the top right now, are not overworking their goaltenders. So the fact that these goalies are playing a ton, I think makes them more susceptible to injury, and I think it makes them more susceptible to burnouts. So when these guys have an off night, don't be entirely surprised. Rookies. So I always get asked about rookies. Put rookies up there. So here's your rookies for this week. Makar leads them in scoring with 8 goals and 18 assists for 26 points. Quinn Hughes, 2 goals, 21 assists for 23 points. Olofsson in Buffalo has 11 goals and 11 assists for 22 points. Mikheyev in Toronto, 4 goals, 13 assists for 17 points. And Neches in Carolina, quietly having a solid rookie season, 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. Could end up putting up about 50 points. And he could follow a similar career trajectory, I would think, to Sebastian Aho, who had a relatively quiet rookie season. Not a whole lot said about him. I know I said a lot because I watched a ton of Carolina games down the stretch that year. But he kind of came out of nowhere for people in year 2. Plus-minus leaders among rookies. I know plus-minus is reviled and all. But you know what? It's fun to look at. I don't care. Philippe Myers in Philadelphia leads with a +12. Makar has a +10. Marino a +9 in Pittsburgh. And Mikheyev +7. Now, rookie ice time. This is what tells you which defensemen are being trusted a bunch in their first year. Ethan Bear in Edmonton, 21 minutes and 15 seconds. Quinn Hughes, 20 minutes and 28 seconds on average. Cale Makar, 20 minutes and 10 seconds on average. So Hughes is actually playing a little bit more than Makar. Marino in Pittsburgh, 19 minutes and 20 seconds. He's been a top 4 defenseman for them, and he's been very good. And Dante Fabro, 19 minutes and 1 second in Nashville. It's just another Nashville defenseman who's coming along pretty. It's just Nashville always has another defenseman coming. He's just the latest. So there you go. There's your statistical leaders currently in the NHL. Let me know who surprises you. And not only that, but which player is not on the list when it comes to the points, the goals, the assists, and all that. Who, well, I didn't put assists up there, but shots, this kind of thing. Who's going to end up being up there? To me, the one that stands out is Eichel, because Eichel's actually had a really good year, and yet he's not top 5. But is he going to get there? And then Kucherov. Does Kucherov close in on that? I think Kucherov now has 29 points after last night. He's nowhere near the lead. So is he going to go on a run, or is that it? That's it for him as being an elite top 5 scorer in the NHL. And we'll talk about somebody else out of Tampa, I would think, within the next year or two as being the premier talent. Or maybe that's just because there's so many good scorers in Tampa that the scoring spreads out a little bit more this year than last year. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.